Welcome to today's video on how to escape from intellectual rubbish, an insightful and thought provoking essay by the famous British philosopher Bertrand Russell. Hi, I'm Sushma. I teach in BMS Government First Grade College, Huliyar. So, in next 30 or 20 minutes, we'll discuss about the introduction of the essay. The essay was taken from Unpopular Essays, which was written in 1950. And we'll briefly discuss about Bertrand Russell, about his important works. So this video I'm dividing in three parts. So this is part 1 video. So text, I have also put the text and I'm going to read line by line. And I'm going to explain you about the part 1 text. Okay. So after listening to this video lecture, you'll be able to acquaint yourself. Acquaint means ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ, ಪರಿಚಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾರು? A great philosopher called Bertrand Russell. And not only that, individually you'll be able to correct yourself. How to think scientifically, how to avoid superstitions, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಐಡಿಯಾಸ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, now about the introduction, as I have earlier told you, the essay is taken from his book Unpopular Essays, which was published in 1950. Now, here in this essay, Bertrand Russell discusses about irrational thinking. Now, what do you mean by irrational thinking? Irrational ಅಂದರೆ ತರ್ಕವಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಯೋಚಿಸೋದು. There is no scientific evidence, and without evidence you think and you make mistakes. So he's talk and he will give us guidance like how you should think scientifically. He also talks about people's opinion, why people form opinion, and how to avoid such foolish opinions. So here in the slide we saw that the essay was published in Unpopular Essays. Russell talks about irrational thinking and how to avoid irrational thinking. And he also tells that what forces people to have opinions and how to avoid them. Okay, in the picture you're seeing, he's Bertrand Russell. He was born in 1872 and he died in 1970. He was not just a philosopher, he was a logician and a social reformer. And also he won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1950. Common people recognized him as a campaigner of peace, Shanti Duta, and he wrote popularly about society, social, political and moral subjects. So Shanti Duta ಅಂತ ಅವನನ್ನ ರೆಕಗ್ನೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು ಜನರಲ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್. You cannot imagine, in his whole lifetime he has written 70 books and 2000 articles. He became involved in innumerable public controversies. Let us not go deep into it. And he was also a lecturer. He taught English and he was founder of a school. His most important or influential works are, I've just put only 3 works: The Problems of Philosophy, A History of Western Philosophy, Principia Mathematica. So these are his 3 important influential works. Learners, now the essay begins with a statement. What's the statement? To avoid the various foolish opinions to which mankind are prone, no superhuman genius is required. A few simple rules will keep you not from all error, but from silly errors. What is trying to tell is, error means it is mistake. So you should not have genius to avoid mistakes. Simple common sense is required to avoid mistake. So the essay starts with the statement. This is the opening statement. Okay, here I've written the explanation. Simple rules will keep us from making silly mistakes. So with this it starts. Now next he gives an example from Aristotle. So this is directly taken from textbook. If the matter is one that can be settled by observation, so some things you should observe. Now for example, Aristotle thought that thought matlab he simply believed that women had fewer teeth than men. ಹೆಣ್ಮಕ್ಳಿಗೆ ಹಲ್ಲು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಗಂಡು ಮಕ್ಳಿಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ he believed it. Okay, and he just wrote a statement. Simple thing he could have done. He could have asked his wife to open her mouth wide and he could have counted her tooth. ಅದೊಂದು ಮಾಡಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. So simply he thought that women had fewer teeth than men and he wrote a statement. So this error he could have avoided by observation. So we can avoid simple mistakes by observing. See here, very interestingly writes. The simple device of asking Mrs. Aristotle to keep her mouth open while he counted. This he could have done, but he didn't do it and he made a mistake. So how people can avoid mistake? They can avoid mistake by observation. Okay, error notion Aristotle had. Error is a mistaken belief Aristotle had. So he could have avoided it by simply observing. Okay, he himself believed that. Here in the picture you are seeing, they are called as hedgehogs. They believed that these hedgehogs ate black beetles. Beetle ಅಂದರೆ ಹುಳ. ಈ ಹೆಡ್ಜಾಗ್ಸು ಹುಳಗಳನ್ನು ತಿಂತಾವೆ ಅಂತ ಅವನು ನಂಬಿದ್ದ. Okay, he simply believed. Okay, but if he had to write a book on the habits of hedgehogs, so he will not just write the book simply because he knows. He will do research on it. Then only he will publish a book. So that's very, very important. See, I believe myself that hedgehogs eat black beetles because I have been told that they do. He has never seen. Somebody told him that hedgehogs will eat the beetles. But if I were writing a book is a written record. So whatever you write in book, you have to do some kind of research on the habits of hedgehogs. I should not commit myself until I had seen one enjoying this unappetizing diet. Diet means ಊಟ. ಅದನ್ನು ನಾನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾಗಿತ್ತು. If you had to write a book on the habits of hedgehogs, he would simply observe and then only he will write the books. So by observation, you can avoid many, many mistakes. That's what Russell is trying to tell here. Okay, now the same explanation here. Aristotle thought women had fewer teeth than men without actually counting them. He should have asked his wife to open her mouth so he could count and be confirmed about it. He did not, because he thought he already knew. One should not assume that they know. Thinking you know something when you don't is a big mistake we all do. So before writing something or before asserting something, one should do research. Okay, even author also had a personal opinion that hedgehogs eat beetles. But if he had to write a book, then he would have done a kind of research. Okay, again this is taken from textbook. Let me just read out for you. Many matters, however, are less easily brought to the test of experience. If, like most mankind, you have passionate convictions, convictions means beliefs, On many such matters, there are ways in which you can make yourself aware of your own bias. Bias ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ರಿಜುಡೈಸ್, ತಪ್ಪು ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆ. ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಸಾರಿ ತಪ್ಪು ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ಬೆಳೆಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀವಿ. Because of the bias, we become angry. If an opinion contrary to your own makes you angry, that's a sign that you are subconsciously aware of having no good reason for thinking as you do. If someone maintains that 2 or 2 are 5, ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, somebody tells you 2 plus 2 is equal to 5, then we don't believe it, because we all know that 2 plus 2 is 4, because we have evidence. That's what he's trying to tell. Without evidence, you don't believe in anything. Because of false belief, what you do? You become angry. Unless you know so little of arithmetic is mathematics, or geography, that his opinion shakes your own contrary conviction. Conviction is belief. The most savage controversies are those about matters as to which there is no good evidence either way. So, whenever you find yourself getting angry about a difference of opinion, be on your guard. You will probably find on examination that your belief is going beyond what the experience warrants. So what is trying to tell is, before believing anything, you should have evidence. We should listen to different opinions and be open to new ideas. Whatever you think is not the final idea, it's not a final judgment. You should be open to other ideas. This prevents developing a dogmatic attitude. Dogmatic means principles, ಆದರ್ಶಗಳು, ಅಥವಾ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಬೆಳೆಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ you should have, what do you say, evidence. And you should understand other point of view. ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಕೋನವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. Without understanding the other's point of view, you should not come to a conclusion. That's what he means to tell by that previous slide. Okay, now more explanation on this. Angry at different opinions. If one gets angry when someone disagrees, it means one is unsure or have no proof. Now, before becoming angry, okay, you should know the thing why you are getting angry. What proof does it have? Without proof or evidence, don't believe in anything. If you false believe, then you'll become angry. Now, for example, he says, if someone says 2 plus 2 is 5, we don't get angry because we know it's wrong. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ತಪ್ಪು ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. So we don't become angry. Very simple logic. In arithmetic, there is knowledge. Maths always has proof and knowledge. In theology is a subject on religion. Theology is based on opinions, and opinions ಗೆ ಯಾವ proof ಇರಲ್ಲ. So before forming the opinions, have some evidence. That's what is trying to tell here. Okay, so one more way to get rid of your opinion is, you should take traveling. If you travel, then what happens? You meet different people, you see different cultures, and your point of view will definitely change. Now these lines I have taken from the textbook. Let me just read out. A good way of ridding yourself of certain kinds of dogmatism. Dogmatism is principles, certain beliefs, is to become aware of opinions held in social circles. What other people think, that you should understand. I lived much outside my own country. So actually he's born in England, but he has traveled to many countries like France, Germany, Italy, and the United States. So he has met many people. Okay, another thing is, you can appreciate others' point of view at least by reading newspaper. So newspaper will really help you. in changing your opinion. Again, this slide I have taken from text. I am going to read out. I found this very profitable in diminishing the intensity of insular prejudice. Prejudice means tappu tiluvalike. If you cannot travel, seek out people with whom you disagree and read a newspaper. Okay, no problem. You cannot travel, at least read a newspaper. Then your opinion will change. Belonging to a party that is not yours. You should see that the newspaper belongs to the opposite party. That newspaper you should read out. If the people and the newspaper seem mad, perverse or wicked, remind yourself that you seem so to them. After reading the newspaper, you think that people are really mad. That's how the opposite side will think of you, that you are mad. In this opinion, both parties may be right, but they cannot both be wrong. This reflection should generate a certain caution. So what is trying to tell here is, you can change your point of view or opinion by traveling. Okay, you cannot travel, no problem. At least read the newspaper of the opposite party. And after reading the newspaper, you may become angry. That's quite natural. But you remind yourself that the other person also is becoming angry on you. So traveling and reading newspaper is very, very important. Okay. Now this is the outline of part 1. So let us discuss it. If you understand this, then the whole part 1 will be clear. So what is trying to tell? Avoid errors or mistakes. Especially what kind of mistakes? Silly mistakes. We make silly mistakes. How can we avoid it? Only by observations. That's why he gives the example of Aristotle. And he talks about unicorns and salamanders. Unicorns and salamanders, they had some false belief about these creatures. Unicorn is a horse which is having a single horn. But just believe me, there was no animal like unicorn. And salamanders, they live in cold area. They live nearby water. But what it was believed is, the salamanders live in fire. So that was a wrong belief the old writers had. Okay, so you can get rid of wrong beliefs and wrongs only by observations. Ancient Greeks and Romans believed salamanders were fire resistant. As I've already told you, salamanders, they thought that they can live in fire. It was a wrong belief actually. According to science, they live nearby water and they are not fire resistant. Even fire extinguishing, even like when they were there in fire, they could extinguish the fire. Extinguish andre ars bidutte anta. Arithmetic is based on knowledge. So everybody agrees to it. 2 plus 2 is 4. In India also is 4. In America also it is 4. For my grandmother also it was 4. And for my grandchildren also it will be 4. Because it is based on knowledge. Then theology is based only on opinion. So to develop a broader perspective, one should travel or read newspapers. This is what is trying to tell in part 1 of the essay. Okay, thank you very much for joining to this video lecture. I hope Russell's message is clear. Be observant, be open-minded, test your beliefs, think rationally. This is how we escape the trap of intellectual rubbish. See you in next video. Thank you.